Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is obviously part 2 to my charity scam series. I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right into the video because I have not a lot to cover, but I do want to get through quite a few things before I jump into part 3, which is gonna come at a later date. I'm not sure when. I'm hoping for next week, but it all depends on the other people that are involved, which I'll get to towards the end of the video. So updates. So as of today, Kim has me blocked on both Facebook and now Instagram after I posted this to a public post on her Instagram. Blocking apparently is nothing new for this woman. This is something that she does quite often. Apparently she blocks any and everybody that says anything that's not in favor of her or anything she does. And apparently, I just found out of, like, I want to say yesterday, after I posted that Instagram comment to her Instagram, she was blocking people who liked my comment even. So this is something that she does quite often. As for Casey, she still has yet to see or read my message. I don't know why that is. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt and say maybe she's not seeing it because it's in a spam folder. But now that she's seen my first video, and I'm pretty sure I said that I had messaged her in that video even, she should know that there's a message there pending from me. But even still, I'm used to my settings on my phone where even if we aren't friends on Facebook, I still get the notification that someone has sent me a message. It'll say, you received a message from so-and-so or whatever, you know what I mean? So I just find it hard to find a valid reason why I haven't gotten a response from her. And honestly, it looks kind of sketchy to me. Honestly, guys, their silence as a whole is deafening. It speaks volumes, especially when it comes to Kim and her choice to just straight up block me instead of reaching out to me and having an adult conversation to discuss the situation and possibly clear her name, which I've given her every chance to do so. And I'll say right now, if either of you, grow the lady balls to reach out to me and try to clear your name if you have the receipts and you want to give them over to me, my DMs are open. I don't block people for no reason, unlike you, Kim. I don't. So if you want to grow up and talk to me, my DMs are open, reach out to me. But Kim has made it thoroughly clear that she does not want the subject of my video or this live stream to be brought up, period. And she's made it clear through blocking, but also ignoring questions and blocking people who ask certain questions. Even one of her tribe members asked her recently in a live stream how Casey and the girls were doing, and she straight up said, I'm not answering that. I mean, in the live stream, when Casey was very quick to say, I'm an open book, baby, you agree with her. You said, so am I. But that was clearly a fucking lie from both of you. To add to the sketchiness, it appears that both Casey and Kim have now unfollowed each other on Instagram, which was like the main platform that they would like interact on, I guess, outside of Facebook. They seem to have unfollowed each other, which is kind of weird considering how passionately Casey spoke about Kim being part of her family. Like, that was family, and anyone who spoke against family had to go through her and deal with her. But now you guys aren't talking about each other or like interacting, and now you're unfollowing each other. Like, it's kind of weird, and I guess not at all, like totally not at all suspicious. I've given both women ample time to reach out to me to give me receipts, like actual receipts of what was donated in total, what was given over to the mason, I guess they said they had hired to make the headstones. Those two numbers should have added up completely. I wanted to see receipts for that. And anywhere else the money was spent for clothing or whatever, what have you. That's what I was looking for. Proof to clear their names. But they've chosen not to, which is, hey, that's fine. That's their choice. They're adults. They can make that choice. But now you just look even more guilty than you originally did. So there's that. Now, going back to Kim's bad habit, because that's what it is, bad habit of blocking and ignoring pertinent important and relevant questions. In the live stream, she was calling out people by name. I think one of the people that she called out was someone named Emily or Elizabeth or something like that, something with an E, for simply asking very valid, fair, and relevant questions, especially as people who are being asked to donate money to their cause. She was calling them out angrily, saying, I'm going to blow a socket or I'm going to blow a gasket, because she was so angry that they were asking where this hospital was, what hospital the kids were in, how much was needed for the headstones. Not so much that. It was definitely more of the where is the hospital or what's the hospital called. That's where she was really getting angry. But when they started asking like how much was needed, Casey shut down. Like, was not going to answer. And even Kim was like, you don't have to answer that at all. Why are you telling her what she has to answer or what she doesn't have to answer? That's a very valid question. Someone asked, well, why isn't a GoFundMe being made, or why wasn't one made? And Kim claimed that they weren't there yet because of how sensitive the information was at that point. Because remember, she had to be very, very vague because these were wards of the state and they were very, very restricted on what they could and could not say. But as wards of the state, anyone with a quarter of a brain would know that these children are taken care of. They get money each month for clothes, brand new clothes. They're taken care of with food. Their headstones are taken care of financially through insurance. Everything's covered. So the real reason she wouldn't name the name, speaking of Casey now, is because, in my opinion, either A, the hospital just doesn't exist, or B, she pretty much slandered the hospital and its staff by saying things like, and I'm reading off my paperwork right here, saying that the girls stayed in the same clothes, shirts and underwear for 3 days. That's pretty much claiming straight up that the hospital and its staff was negligent when it came to the children and their care. I find it very hard to believe that hospitals that have regulations and that are regulated by higher ups would allow cancer patients, terminally ill, like you said, end of life, absolute end of life, that's very important, to sit in dirty clothes for 3 days. Furthermore, with the negligent claim, she says that she makes sure that the girls are bathed and fed. She explicitly says, I make sure these girls eat every day. I find it incredibly hard to believe that they're going to allow just anyone, especially just a volunteer, to take these children into a bathroom to bathe them when these children are, again, terminally ill, end of life care. I'm pretty sure they have special needs and different restrictions on what they can use and what can't be used and things like that. I'm very certain that's a thing. But they're going to trust a volunteer and not an educated, licensed professional to bathe them? I don't think so. I was born on a day, but that day was not yesterday. Okay? Moreover, I find it even harder to believe that you're even able to be a volunteer, especially when it comes to children, when allegedly you have a charge of child endangerment in the 2nd degree attached to your name, Casey. I'm fairly certain that that would disqualify you from working with children anywhere, especially terminally ill children. So, the funniest, dumbest thing that came out of the live stream, the thing that sent me into an uncontrollable, thunderous belly laugh, was when Casey was asked, because Casey had mentioned that the wards of the state, the girls, were separated. Someone had asked her why they were separated, and Casey said OSHA was the reason that these girls were separated. Now, if you've ever worked any job, like specifically like in food service, retail, like any job, right? I'm pretty sure any job applies to this. Then you are familiar with OSHA, okay? If you're not, let me just educate you for a second, because the more you know, the better. OSHA stands for Occupational Safety and Health Administration. I'm reading off the paperwork right now. OSHA ensures safe and healthful working conditions for working men and women by setting and enforcing standards and by providing training, outreach, education, and assistance. OSHA is the reason you have to wear safety goggles and gloves and clothing protection when handling certain chemicals when cleaning up a spill or something. They're also the reason why you have to put up a big yellow cone sign thing that says floor wet, proceed with caution, or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? They do not, however, have any authority over the separation of wards of the state or children in general in hospital. I also find it very hard to believe that the hospital will separate wards of the state from children who are not wards of the state. Unless, you know, they're sick or like really, really sick, where their immune systems are being compromised by being around this other child, then I believe children being separated. But I don't believe wards of the state are separated for any reason outside of that. There has to be a health risk involved. And that's that. I also don't believe, Casey, that they just signed over custody of a body to you and you were able to take it home that day. What? Like, you're literally no one to these kids. You have zero ties to them. And you expect us to believe that the guardians of these children just let them go, even though they had arrangements for their funeral taken care of? What? At this rate, this woman must believe that we are just next level stupid. I'm pretty sure that she believes that she could sell us a tropical island in the North Pole, complete with sandy white beaches, warm tropical water, palm trees, fruitful palm trees, coconut trees, banana trees everywhere. That's how stupid she thinks we are to believe all this shit with no proof. Do not insult my intelligence or the intelligence of everyone who has seen this shit. Don't. Moreover, there should be some form of paperwork available to check out as far as there being like an official order of custody being given over to you. But there's nothing that I could find in the database. So if you have that paperwork, Casey, I'd love to see it. Next, it was made absolutely 1000% clear by both of you, both Casey and Kim, that the girls were allegedly in absolute end-of-life care in hospice. So if that was the case, then Casey, your claim that these kids were getting treatments every day, chemo, radiation, platelets, or whatever, all those claims are bullshit. Because I've spoken to quite a few cancer patients, people who are currently battling cancer or have battled it in the past. I've also spoken to one medical professional, and they all said the same thing. Nobody in an absolute end-of-life stage would be getting any kind of treatments. The treatments, at that point, if you are an absolute end of life, the treatments have failed. Nothing is helping, nothing is going to help. They unfortunately have no other option, so they're put into hospice to just spend the rest of their time on this earth the best way they can and as comfortable as they possibly can. It would be cruel, and this is a direct quote from people I've spoken to, it would be cruel of the hospital staff or the hospice staff to continue treatments on terminal patients in hospice. So that's another lie, Casey. You mentioned in the live stream, where does the right thing come in? When does doing the right thing happen or come in? I could ask that same question to you both. The right thing in this case would be you guys coming out and fessing up to this being a bunch of bullshit. Because anyone with half a brain, a quarter of a brain, whatever, can read the transcript of this live stream and just be like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. If it smells like bullshit and it looks like bullshit, it most likely is, as it stands to reason, bullshit. This is bullshit. To top it all off, because you couldn't just stop there, To top it all off, you claim that you brought these girls, these terminal patients in absolute end-of-life care. Remember that. McDonald's breakfasts every day. I think you said every day. Yet, you almost had a heart attack while describing how these little baby girls are being given hand-me-downs. Like, the hospital had the audacity to put these children in hand-me-downs. That was a huge deal. But you bringing in unsanitized food to terminally ill patients who most likely don't even have an appetite, they can't even barely eat what's being fed to them through a tube, but you expect me to believe that these kids are eating McDonald's? That shit's heavy. So they can consume unsanitized things from what you're saying, but when it comes to them wearing it, that's where you draw the line. Of all things, that's where you draw the line. Okay. As long as the clothes are properly sanitized, which I'm sure they would be if they were going into a ward like that, I'm sure hand-me-downs are fine. But I'd imagine that these kids, because of their condition, they would be in hospital gowns to make it easier for doctors to take a look at them and bathe them and all. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am, I am. But I'd imagine that they wouldn't be wearing regular clothing, number one. But then you also mentioned that when you initially asked for donations, you were asking for money to buy them clothing and flip-flops. But you then contradict yourself because you later say something about how you had to buy the girls special infused socks because their feet were the first things to go when they have chemotherapy. So if that were the case, if you bought them these special infused socks, which I'm sure were very expensive, why would you be buying them flip-flops when flip-flops, number one, on hospital floors wouldn't be the safest? I don't think that would be a good thing. But if they're going to be wearing socks, flip-flops would kind of be irrelevant or redundant, I would imagine. So I'm confused. Please explain it to me. Make that make sense. Overall, unfortunately, it makes complete sense that Kim would be involved in something like this. Kim, if you don't know, she's mostly known for being a top-ish, and I say that very loosely, top-ish tier Younique presenter, which that's not something to be proud of in my eyes. It's just not. But she is known for being a top-tier presenter for Younique, which you guys know if you've been a subscriber on my channel for any length of time. You guys know how I feel about Younique. I don't like the brand because they allow their presenters, like Kim, to basically use predatory tactics to recruit vulnerable women to their bogus teams. They promise tons of money, they promise time with their family, they promise all these things, and the biggest thing that they use to draw people in is that they claim that with each sale, 10% of that sale, of every product sold, goes to the Younique Foundation, which of course is owned by the brand owner of Younique. It's not going to any like outreach programs for women who are sexually abused. It's not going to fund anything outside of just the Younique Foundation, which again was created by and owned by the owner of Younique. So who's really pocketing the money? Because even in the retreat, I've talked to people who have gone to the retreat. You have to pay for your way to and from Utah to be able to go to the retreat. I would imagine things like that would be covered if 10%, like they claim, of every sale goes to the Younique Foundation. Why wouldn't that cover also traveling expenses? Because these women are going for help. I'm sure they don't have money. They don't have much to their name, if anything at all. So wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, things just don't add up. She also shills Bo Stegall, whatever his name is, bogus hair care line. The before and after pictures, anyone with two working eyeballs can see that it's just, they claim that there's growth after a few uses or after a few weeks or whatever, but it's very easy to see that they just combed over the hair to make it look like there's growth, and there's not. But that's how they do their business. More recently, she started working with and partnering up with this brand called Bombshell Beads. She just released a collection of beads retailed at $280 or around that price tag, just under $300 for beads that legitimately, you guys, look like fancy Mardi Gras beads. Here's a picture. I'm fairly certain that if I traveled to the French Quarter to New Orleans for Mardi Gras next year, and I flashed my titties to the world, I could collect enough beads that look almost identical to what they have in that picture for free. On top of that, I've seen people looking online on Amazon, and so many people have found beads found in that set on Amazon for less than a quarter of the price that she's charging for the whole set. That's highway robbery. Highway robbery to charge almost $300 for fucking fancy Mardi Gras beads. That's gross. But again, all these things are the reason why I totally understand why Kim is involved with this. Because that's the kind of person she is. There's a pattern. Now, Casey, I'm not too sure about. This is my first time really seeing things about her. But Kim has a past, which I will touch on in a future video. It's gross to me that this is happening. However, things are going to be taken care of quite quickly, I'm hoping. So one of my amazing subscribers reached out to me and gave me the idea of reaching out to St. Jude's Research Center, which at first I was like, that just seems like a huge daunting task. Like, no one's going to answer me. Well, it was the best idea I could have ever gotten. So thank you so much. And thank you to the person that I reached out to with your connections. You're awesome. I love you. I adore you. Because everything is actually working out beautifully, because I'm now working with the fraud department at St. Jude's to investigate this entire situation. I've already sent over the live stream, the transcript that was sent to me. Thank you to whoever did that. You are amazing. It's been a huge help in this entire process. And actually, I have the clip right here of the phone call. The only time you're going to hear skips or where like there's something missing is when there's sensitive information. So like the person's name, the number, my full name, and things like that. I wanted to block those out for obvious reasons, but everything else is what it is.
We really don't know where she's getting these claims from, but I mean, and what I would like to do is, yeah, I mean, it sounds like she's putting out a lot of claims out there, obviously, that sound very disturbing to you and maybe to others as well. Can you provide me with a list of those questions, and also is there any way that we would be able to view what this person has put, or do you have their name, or do you have their YouTube channel, or anything like that? Because again, I'm going to pass it on to the legal team. I think is probably the best thing for me to do with this.
Okay. I have the links for everything. Yeah. Do you have like a personal email? Yeah, I have everything.
I do. And if you could, and even if you could provide those questions that you had, I mean, I don't know if you have those
I do.
Already typed up or anything, but
I do.
But if you do, and just say these are the claims that she is making. I just want to know if this is factual or not. And what I'll do is I'll pass that on to our legal team. And you said you're not sure if this came through your Facebook, if it was a Facebook Live or if it was a YouTube. You're not sure, but you have all the information, I guess. So
right, because
yes, let me give you my email if I could, and then that way you can forward me what you have. And
yeah,
like I say, I'll be happy then to pass that on to our legal team.
Perfect.
At stjude.org, just stjude.org.
Okay. Now,
and just again, just to type me just a little quick reminder that this is something that you would say. Just tell me who you are in case we need to get back in contact with you. I mean, obviously we'll have your email address, but
right,
just in case the legal team has any questions, if it's all right, if they reach out to you, because we appreciate you notifying us of this. Did this happen today, or when did you?
No, this happened.
This broadcast.
This happened about a month ago, and it just came to my attention.
Okay.
This was sent to me because I have a YouTube channel. And my channel, I try to expose things like this, and that's why I was trying to get a hold of a professional, like a medical professional, who could go through these questions with me and just give me a yes or no answer.
Right.
But I have the links to everything. I have the whole video, everything. Okay. So I'll send it to you.
Right. Oh, absolutely. If you could send that, and like I say, I'll send it to our legal team. Then our legal team, again, they don't, they review those claims, and they look at them, and they determine. They take action against those as need be. So,
awesome.
Thank you very much for looking out for St. Jude. We appreciate it.
Hey, not a problem.
And yes, absolutely. Because again, we can't keep our eyes on everything, as you know. But there's so many people out there doing different type of platforms. So we rely on individuals like you who were kind enough to snip those things and send us what we need, and then we reach out to those individuals, either have it shut down or taken care of in whatever legal manner we need to. So thank you for doing that. I'll look forward to getting that email, stjude.org. So If you send that to me, I'll reply when I receive it. And again, thank you for doing that for me.
Not a problem. I look forward to hearing more from you. Thank you so much.
All right, absolutely. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye. So, to Kim and Casey, I'm no longer the only person you should be worried about going after you for the situation, because now I really don't have much else to do. Now it's in the hands of people who can actually make a difference and report this. So I am so happy to be working alongside them. If it turns out that this all checks out, then hey, I'm willing to admit that I was wrong. But even the woman that I spoke to was like, it just doesn't sound right whatsoever. Because it seems like things like this happen quite often. I'm going to put some information down below for you guys because St. Jude's actually has a fraud department that anyone can call into and ask questions about certain things they've seen, whether it be on YouTube or Facebook is a big one. Facebook is a huge one for allowing these false and fraudulent posts to go on. If you happen to be on Facebook or YouTube, Twitter, any social media platform really, and you see something that looks kind of fraudulent or it looks kind of suspicious, it's better to be safe than sorry. Take a screen recording, take a screenshot, whatever you can do, just record whatever you can, and just call the number and say, hey, like, I have a link to this video or to this post. I want to run it by you guys to see if you can validate it or invalidate it, and just report it. There's no harm in reporting things like this, because things like the situation really are unfortunate because it takes away from people actually donating to the actual foundations that are trying to find cures for childhood cancer or cancer in general, which of course we all know is St. Jude's, which is why I reached out to St. Jude's in the first place, because they're the ones who are truly trying to make a difference. And if anyone had the answers that I'm looking for these claims as far as debunking them, they were going to be my first choice to begin with. So that is why I chose to go down the road that I did. But like I said, if you see anything suspicious, just report it to the number, and they'll tell you what to do and where to go from there. But yeah, so that's everything I had to talk about in today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, I'm not sure. I don't have an ETA on part 3. It all depends really on when I get correspondence back from the individual that I'm working with at St. Jude's. So we'll see what happens. But until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video. I love you guys so much. Bye.